Welcome back to our Pledge interview. In studio today we have the CEO of Penny Appeal South Africa, Sister Shanaz Parak. Before the break, we were talking about the history of Penny Appeal South Africa and the projects that they are involved in and the communities that they are assisting here in South Africa. More domestic, it's all about local is lekker, they say. Firstly, when we are donating to a company or an organization like Penny Appeal South Africa, we see the rewards on the ground within our communities. Sister Shanaz, talking then about the pledge that is going to be happening live here on ITV networks. What's the reason for the pledge this year?
This year we've opted to focus predominantly on children. One of our main focal areas is orphans and vulnerable children, as well as children that may be in need across the world and right here at home in South Africa. So we're going to be raising funds towards our Orphan Kind project, and that is our orphan sponsorship program. It's a very intensive program which ensures that when a donor supports an orphan, they receive the profile, feedback reports, annual updates. The actual funds are utilized to ensure that the child remains in school, depending on which area of the world they're in, or right here in South Africa. We ensure that they have a house mother that takes care of them, they have access to education, some of their medical needs are taken care of. The second project we're going to be raising funds for is our HIV Orphan program, and this is one that's quite close to our hearts. The HIV Orphan program takes place predominantly in the Gambia and Pakistan, as well as other areas around the world, and that's a 3-year intensive program which provides all the needs that a child may have while they are residing in a HIV orphan home. So a very tailor-made specific project. I'm happy to report that when people sign up for that, they receive an actual welcome pack, a feedback report, and halfway through the year there's a recording of the actual class when they going through their reading and stuff like that, and that gets sent through to the donor as well.
Then we're talking about the two projects. Let's look at the first project, the cost of then sponsoring an orphan, be it here in South Africa or worldwide.
The cost to sponsor an orphan is 750 Rand per month, and that goes towards seeing to all the needs for a child on the Orphan Kind project. And the cost to sponsor a HIV orphan is 900 Rand per month, and that's over a 3-year period, just to ensure that there's continuity throughout for that duration of time.
So the donors watching out there, the 750 Rand that they are going to give per month, what does it entail then when sponsoring an orphan, or the 900 Rand per month when you're sponsoring an HIV orphan, what does that 900 Rand entail?
The 750 Rand provides for them shelter, access to food for their family in some instances if they're living with extended family. It ensures that they have access to education. It ensures that they're able to basically get their basic needs met in terms of clothing, in terms of ensuring they have a normal life. For the HIV orphan, it also ensures that they receive adequate shelter in terms of where they may be living. All their needs are met from an educational perspective, as well as any other needs that they may have for themselves as growing children.
Then how has this project taken off from last year to this year, or the continuous running of this project? When we look at the sponsor, the orphan or the HIV project, do you have numbers that maybe you can share with the viewers out there?
So we've had an increase definitely, I think, between last year and this year in terms of the number of orphans sponsored. We are sitting with approximately 56 children sponsored through our Orphan Kind program, and that growth, alhamdulillah, has happened in a 1-year period. For our HIV orphan sponsorships, we're looking at approximately 23 that are sponsored worldwide from the South African office, and that's thanks to donors that have supported those initiatives.
And then our target now moving forward, what's our target? How many orphans do we want to have sponsored and HIV orphans sponsored?
Ideally, we'd like to see a minimum at least of 100 of each sponsored for this appeal. That is our target, because we're also thinking of bringing on board another element to this to supplement these two sponsorships, and that's addressing medical needs for these children and for specifically in South Africa.
I was just going to ask you, I mean, we talk taking care of, you made mention of the needs from their home when it comes to food and educational, but when it comes to the healthcare of these children, how does Penny Appeal South Africa then want to get involved?
Healthcare is something that varies from country to country. We're speaking of the sponsorships for Orphan Kind and HIV Orphan, which take place globally. Right here at home, we understand and know that healthcare, especially public healthcare, is a major challenge to many communities, more especially so to children. We've decided that we want to actually address this matter, and we've embarked on a project where we will be working with companies who have a mobile clinic. And this clinic is actually in the form of quite a big bus, and it's divided into 3 compartments for primary health, dental health, and eye health. And our aim is to actually ensure that we can get as many children in schools, in rural schools especially, able to get on board this bus, to have their health screened and access the services where needed. So we're talking about if there's an issue or a challenge in terms of eye health, the bus will be able to provide them with a pair of spectacles if needed. And if it's something that's a bit more serious, referrals will be done as required to ensure that they get that type of support health-wise. So it's something that's very close to our hearts, because I think health is very, very much overlooked. And we often see that in cities, clinics are quite nearby, especially public clinics. We've heard the horror stories about public hospitals. This, we feel, is something, again, before any of it starts actually happening, or before the actual larger problems start. We're starting at grassroots levels with rural schools, ensuring the children are able to be visited by this bus, access the services, receive any more referrals or assistance that's needed.
So before they see red, they should be seeing orange. Penny Appeal,
100%,
helping
yes.
them out when it comes to their healthcare. We know everything runs with a cost. Then when a viewer out there, a donor who is interested in helping those people who can't reach a clinic in time when it comes especially to their healthcare, what are the cost factors involved?
The cost is approximately 1,000 Rand per child to be able to access these 3. And those costs go towards ensuring that the bus is able to function, that it's maintained, that it's able to go to all of the areas that we've selected. We plan for it to be able to be available within the Gauteng province as well as Western Cape. And we're hoping for KZN as well. So it ensures that the bus is fully equipped, fully prepped, that there are adequate personnel on board to be able to attend to the children, attend to the schools. Should we be able to raise enough funds, inshallah, we can even open it up to adults within communities who may also need to have primary health checks. This covers HIV/AIDS testing, TB testing, etc., and then the dental and the eye health as well. So that is 1,000 Rand per person or per child, and it ensures that they get those holistic range of services. Over and above that, there's quite an interesting component to this as well, because there's a software that's developed to actually be able to track the progress of the vehicle. So it indicates how many individuals have been seen, what referrals have been done, how many people have been treated. And I feel that this is really, really good in terms of progressing to a more qualitative approach to providing feedback as opposed to just quantities. It's definitely about what you're putting out there, especially when it comes to health. So all of this, like I say, is for 1,000 Rand per person, and we hope, inshallah, to be able to get as many people as possible sponsored.
1,000 Rand per person per year. We just tell the viewers out there it's not per month, but it's per year, and then it comes down as roughly worked out to about 83, around just above 80 Rand a month. So a viewer or donor out there can pledge 1,000 Rand a year, and they know that that money is, like you say, going to have a proper audit of where the truck is, how many people have benefited from it. So there is some sort of an audit process involved. Sister Shehnaz, talking then about Penny Appeal South Africa's projects that's going to be happening for the live pledge line here on ITV networks. Many of the viewers then would then ask the question, why Penny Appeal South Africa?
I think in most instances when I come across that question, my immediate response is, well, why not? And I mean that with the best intention. I think Penny Appeal South Africa, alhamdulillah, it's more a movement. We prefer to have our donors and volunteers more as family and patrons of the organization. The way in which we tend to approach our projects is definitely with minimal unnecessary administration, if I may call it that. Yeah. Minimal. It ensures that the best and only the best goes to those that we wish to serve. And that in itself is mainly, it's at the forefront of everything we do. Those that we are serving, our intention is to make sure that we make a difference. We understand that the dynamics of the society and country we live in may not always be possible to do projects on such a huge scale, but it's the smaller ones that actually make those everyday differences. Ultimately, I'd say that's why. Over and above that, I think the work that we've done has predominantly spoken for itself in a one-year period, and by no means does it mean that what we've done suffices. It merely means that, alhamdulillah, there is progress, and we are progressing, and we are aiming to improve ourselves, and we still have a long way to go. But I think definitely Penny Appeal for the work that we do, first and foremost, for being able to produce the results and being able to serve individuals and taking a new look or a new way of doing things. I think that's why.
And it all comes down back to what you started with in the interview, small change, a big difference. So you as a donor out there can make a big difference to the lives of these orphans. We know the reward, one, of spending in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during this blessed month of Ramadan. The greater reward of spending on an orphan. For verily we know the hadith, there are many hadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam showing us the value and importance of looking after an orphan child. And then third aspect, being the month of Quran. If we look after an orphan that is looking after the Quran, we can only then imagine how much more reward we are going to be getting for sponsoring a Hifz orphan. And as these are one of the projects, inshallah, that you can call in and pledge your support in later on our pledge line here with Penny Appeal South Africa. Sister Shanaz, then how does a donor or a viewer get involved with Penny Appeal South Africa?
They can contact our offices, and that is on 031 11 00 573. Alternatively, they can look us up online on our website, which is pennyappeal.org.za. We're also on Instagram and Facebook, again as Penny Appeal SA. And we urge viewers and prospective donors and our donors, follow us on these social medias. There's a lot in terms of our activity that's put out on there. And all of our details are on our website as well, and we're only a phone call away. So,
inshallah. Last message of inspiration to the viewers of ITV watching, especially when it comes to Penny Appeal South Africa.
We'd like to thank, on behalf of the team at Penny Appeal South Africa, we'd like to thank all of our loyal well-wishers, donors, patrons. Really, without you, none of what we do would be possible. We ask that you continue to support us, continue to be the reason we're able to reach out to so many individuals, to touch so many lives, transform communities. I think, as they say, the best is yet to come. And inshallah, with the barakah and everything else that we need to ensure the success of the organization, we hope that our donors will be with us for a long time to come. So please support our projects, follow our work, inshallah, and we'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to have you on board with the Penny Appeal family.
CEO of Penny Appeal South Africa, Sister Shanaz Parak, we wish you and the organization the best for the future and the best for the pledge coming up here live on ITV networks. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept and take you and the organization from strength to strength, inshallah.
Ameen.
Jazakallah. That's our pledge interview with Penny Appeal South Africa, CEO of Penny Appeal South Africa, Sister Shanaz Parak. Do call in and pledge your support. We once again remind one another of the benefits of spending in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during this blessed month of mercy, forgiveness and emancipation from the fire of Jahannam. And there can be no greater investment than investing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As we've heard the words of Penny Appeal South Africa, small change, big difference. Keep watching. From myself and the rest of the team, fi amanillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.